Miami and T, boy. You know. My nigga. Good, it's your boy Ben Snow up here at Ruin, Atlanta. About to chop it up with Ian a little bit, ask him some questions, see what's good with the shop. What's going on, Ian? How you?
What's up? How are you?
Just another day, man. Basically, you know, just came in to ask some questions. So, how long has Ruin been around? I know most of us, you know, most people that live around here know, but people that don't know about Ruin, you know, let them know how long the shop's been around.
Yeah, we've been around for about 11 and a half years. It'll be 12 in November, so.
That's a good minute.
It's a long time.
That's cool.
It don't even feel that long.
Nah, it doesn't at all. Well, I've probably known about the shop for a little bit, but you know, I'm sure the more shoes, the more people, you've been getting a lot of traffic in lately, huh?
Yeah, we've always kind of known, you know, it's only when people actually tell their friends about this place that it starts to feel, you know, but people will come through and they'll just happen to find it, you know, and then they'll start coming back.
Yeah, it's a journey to get here too,
for a lot of people, and especially on Fridays, it's a little bit much for most people, but it's usually worth it. I kind of like it being out of the way and stuff like that. If it was in the mall, it'd lose all its flavor. So at the end of that,
honestly, give it the real skate feel.
Yeah.
You know, as far as you being a skater, how did you transition from being a skater into owning your own skate shop?
It was actually kind of some doing. You had to think about it, you know. Okay. And when I planned this for 7 months, and I was even mostly wrong on it. I worked for about 3 years with 11 days off over those 3 years, so it wasn't easy. But you know, I was like, I'm not going to go out of business just because I think I know what I'm doing. So I've studied it and stuff like that, and it's always changing and stuff like that. But it is different being a skateboarder and being a shop owner. They're not necessarily the same thing. There's a lot of skateboarders that don't like, even, you know, dealing with skateboarders or whoever, they just don't like doing it. And it's kind of weird. You don't have to be a skater, but I think you should be a skater when you own a skate shop.
Yeah. So as far as the Atlanta skate scene, what's your views on Atlanta skate scene now from back then, since you've been around for a good minute?
I think skating itself has changed. I think like the outward publicity of skateboarding always has this little thing, you know, like we were just talking earlier about how it used to be kind of, when the X Games came out and all this stuff, it was like looked at like a sport, and then like when we right before we opened, you know, there was like the trial in the Olympics that were here. They had the skateboarding trial, so it was kind of different back then. Where I grew up, and it was like we were always in the back of shopping centers running from police, and, you know. And then it became the sport. It's like we're getting a trial thing, the Olympics, and then it's always kind of evolving and stuff. One thing about skateboarding that I like, you know, if it's one way 1 year, usually 2 years later, it's not that way anymore. It's just things always are changing and evolving. So, but in general, I kind of like it because there's more parks, there's more different people skating. You know, I grew up on the north side. It was like everybody I knew was only on the north side that skated. Now it's kind of all over.
Yeah, I bet actually being downtown a lot, you see a lot more skaters than you used to.
Yeah.
As far as the 5 points. So.
Yeah, 5 points and just all around. You know, before it used to be us traveling down from Marietta or Gwinnett or Roswell, you know, and like traveling into the city. Now a lot more people who live in the city skate the city, which you'd think that they'd be into it since they're right there, but you know, it's all the suburbia that would come invade Atlanta because skate before.
So tell me this: what's your views as far as the influence of skating on fashion?
It's, for me, I'm biased though, because I grew up skating, and I would see like in all these old videos, like, you know, big jeans came out in the 90s, and then, you know, right after I graduated high school, I went back to pick up something, and everybody had like these huge jeans on. Like all the preps had tucked in shirts with big old jeans. I'm like, we did that 2 years ago, man. Like, I'm over it, now you're into it. But like cargos, like from the same thing happened, like cargo, and that went out. So I think just because a lot of skateboarders are based in Southern California, and I think skateboarding kind of evolves a little. It always evolves a little bit quicker because every shoe in skateboarding has always changed every 3 months. You can't find the same colorway like 3 months later. That's how it's always been. So I think skateboarding is always on the forefront of fashion, but I think it's like sometimes a little too early for most people. But again, like I'm biased because I see all this stuff. Like, what is he wearing? And 2 years later, everybody's all into it. I'm like, okay, well, he knew. So whatever.
So as far as shoes, what shoes do you prefer to skate in?
I got a really wide foot, so I like wider shoes. I don't know. I kind of like a little bit beefier shoe. Not nothing crazy, nothing like this. You know, like the sole like that. But I like Lacoste. I've liked Adidas. For me, it's more of the shoe than it is the company. Like the company is secondary because all these shoe companies, not to burst anybody's bubble, all these shoe companies subcontract out the making of the shoe. So it's not like there's some magic. They just, you know, they design the shoe and they have somebody else make it. So I always like to say like the shoe, like a pair of Blazers is going to skate pretty similar to a pair of Vans half cams. It's a mid-top vulcanized shoe, so it's more of the shoe than it is the company. So.
Yeah, actually I have a couple of Blazers, and as far as the support, like they're not really comfortable for me. But as far as skating in them, is it the same or?
Generally, they have more grip because of the way the sole is constructed, and you can feel what's going on a little bit more. But that's going to make them, for walking around, not as comfortable. And that's kind of the even in skateboarding, you kind of they're easier to break in at first, but they don't last as long. They don't have as much support. Whereas like a pair of Dunks or a pair of P-Rods or a pair of like more bigger shoes, they're going to be harder to break in, but they're going to last. They're going to be more comfortable for longer. So I get the second one, not the first. Most people get the first one.
So as far as I've been buying skate shoes for a good minute, and lately it seems like Adidas skate shoes have been pretty popular. What do you think of that?
I think it's just new, and they're harder to find than a lot of the other accounts. They're limiting their accounts, and something that I do here. Like I like other shoes that we don't sell here, but if you can find it in the mall, like I just don't personally want it. I think I don't think that's our job. I always say that, like, it's not our job. If you sell to Nordstrom or whatever, like, I don't care that nobody knows it's there that we sell to. It's just you've made it not our job anymore, and that's the way I kind of take it. I don't really like to sign up to any company or another. But Adidas is definitely doing a lot of good stuff, and a lot of people are into like that old school look, nothing crazy, and then hard to find, like limited distribution.
That's what a lot of people look for nowadays.
Yeah, and they don't even sell to too many online dealers either, so they're picky about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Nike
it is what it is, but Adidas is really a lot newer.
Yeah.
So eventually they'll probably end up where everybody else is at. Where a lot of these skate companies that are skate only, they sell shoes.com. And that's not a skate shoe place, like, but they sell a few there. It is what it is. Like,
yeah, I understand that. And appreciate you chopping it off with us.
No problem.
We about to check out the store some more, look at some shoes. Atlanta got soul, Vince knows. Thank you for checking in with us. Peace.